People talk about milk teas and boba teas now as if they were a recent fad. But historical records from the Spanish period in the Philippines reveal that drinking these concoctions actually has a long history. In Spanish Manila, there were Chinese vendors called chanchauleros that sold drinks made with chanchau, or what the Indios called gulaman, gelatin made from agar, a grass jelly mixed with chia, known tea. The word chanchau comes from the Hokkien chanchau, or grass jelly. They also sold miel de azúcar, which would later be called arnibal, from the Spanish almíbar, and bihon, or bihon, in the current spelling, a type of noodles made with rice flour. From José Honorado Lozano's Vistas de las Islas Filipinas, 1847. Chanchauleros are those Chinese who go through the streets selling chanchau, or gulaman, as the natives call it, which is a kind of sweet that comes from China. It is black in color, which they sell by itself, or have other ingredients mixed with it. Also with chia, which is a small grain produced in abundance in China from a species of grass very similar to basil. They also sell, with it, syrup, and bihon, which is a kind of flour dough made from a certain kind of very glutinous rice, as well as with mongos, which are a kind of small peas or carob. All these things are sold by the Chinese and eaten by the locals, Spanish, Filipino. Sold separately or mixed in cups, served on top of this tool the Chinese vendors, in a corner of the pinga, and within which goes the necessary spare bits of the ingredients that he spreads. In the bucket at the other end of the pinga, the vendor will fill water to wash the cups that is put in the small pool that is on the tray, serving it on the shelf for anyone who wishes to drink. It would be difficult to list the various things to eat that the Chinese are selling on the streets, and even more to explain their ingredients. The natives, who are very fond of all of them, eat them indistinctly and accordingly more or less provided they are with supply. It should be noted that the highest price of a unit of all Chinese food articles that are sold does not exceed 2 quarters, cuartos, or cuartas, as the natives call them. However, even at such a reasonable price, there is little that sellers do not suffer, because there isn't a native who is content with the serving that Chinese hawker gives him, and who does not splash everything that is at hand, when serving themselves, also, not counting the petardo that they usually hit them with, which only the patience of a Chinese could suffer. Green grass, various terms in China, also, singkau, in Indonesia, or Platystoma palustre, a species of plant from the mint family. It is used to make grass jelly. It is naturally dark in color. Gulaman, on the other hand, is a type of gelatin made from agar, a seaweed that also have gelatin-like consistency. Agar is native to tropical Southeast Asian waters, but the first known instance of using such jelly, which is made from the seaweed's carrageenan, a type of starch, is from a Japanese account. Clearly, though, these gelatin dessert foodstuff are so similar that they were called by the same name. Chia seeds, from the mint species, chia, a plant native to Mexico and Central America, and were cultivated by various Amerindian cultures even before Columbus, including the Aztecs. It is interesting that these were used with this dish because chia seeds are like small versions of sago, boba, in Chinese. Both puff into balls when hydrated, generally used in a lot of Southeast Asian dishes, where they are native. Use of these soft round gelatinous balls is native to island of Southeast Asia cooking, where different palms like sago, which was genetically traced to its origins in Papua. Kaong, pith of the sugar palm, Arenga pinnata, kaong, or irok, which is used as a starch as well as gelatinous balls in syrup. Buli, Corypha utan, the pith of this tree are also sago-like and used, when ground, as starch, and the nipa fruticans used like the 2 previous palms. Its pith, just like kaong, are put in syrup and is used as ingredients for desserts. Besides the pith being used as flour, multiple allusion of Tagalogs using them to make flat bread, buns, or when fried, fritters, in historical Tagalog dictionary, and the fruits as candied, in syrup, for treats, desserts. Besides the older desserts like ginaton bilo, they are seen in more modern dishes like halo. These palms are still used in the Philippines, Filipino cuisine, also for making alcohol, and obviously vinegar, and their leaves often as food wrappings. Outside of culinary needs, they are used as well as for many practical uses, including thatching houses, nipa huts, clothing, buri hats, and mats. Tapioca, chia, sago pearls, and the various versions of these palm pith pearls, obviously both Amerindian and Southeast Asian native foodstuffs, were adopted by mainland Southeast Asians and Southern Chinese, most likely via trade with Manila, via galleon trade, during the colonial era. From minan, bihon, or rice noodles, in other Chinese languages, mafun, or mifan. These are generally referred to in English as rice vermicelli. Used in many Asian dishes influenced by Chinese cuisine, including popular ones such as Vietnamese vermicelli bowls, or bun, and Filipino stir-fried noodles, pancit bihon. Also used as stuffing in various iterations of spring and egg rolls in Asia, including the Philippines lumpia. The dessert dish snack described in this chanchau is obviously a version of a cold noodle dish like liang fen. Cold noodle, a type of noodle dish generally served with beans like mung beans, or chickpeas, popular as street food in China. Mungo or mung beans were first domesticated in India, proven by genetic studies, before spreading to China and Southeast Asia, playing prominent roles in both regional dishes. Mung bean version is clearly sweetened, either boiled with sugar as is sometimes used in many sweet bean toppings in modern Filipino dishes, or because it is served with syrup, miel de azúcar, literally, honey of sugar. Today in the Philippine brown sugar syrup is called arnibal, from Spanish, ultimately from Persian via Arabic, almibar, or syrup, known also as sugar water. In the pre-colonial era it was called puya in Tagalog, described in dictionaries as zumo de caña dulce, or zest, juice of sugarcane. They would squeeze the sugarcane and then put them in jars to be used like we do powdered sugar today. Syrup, in other words, liquefied sugar, is the sweetener used by the natives before the arrival of Spanish, when the process of boiling and packing sugarcane into solid form was introduced. In early Tagalog dictionaries, it says something like, they call it using our word, azúcar, because they did not have a word for sugar, in other words, granulated or solid table sugar. Pinga is the carrying pole. The origin of this is probably Sanskrit, via Malay as usual, because in South Asia it is called pingo. Kwarta, today's kwarta, or money or cash, originally from Manila Tagalog but now used in various languages in the Philippines, came from kwarto, in other words, a fourth, or a quarter, likely meant quarter peso. The petardo means swindle or borrow money. Today likely it would be called pautang, or to ask for a loan. As for suffering, Lozano made multiple drawings of these chanchauleros. One version shows naughty little children sneaking behind these baskets to pilfer bits and pieces of the sweets. What's not shown or said in the notes is they also sometimes have a small ceramic stove and kettle with them, which they likely used to heat water to keep ingredients fresh, or perhaps also what keeps the syrup warm, or the chia seeds hydrated. If you go to other Southeast Asian stores, or countries, they have many similar dishes that look like these. Like in Vietnamese bakeries, they have similar sago at gulaman, and rice confectionery dishes that looks like those from the Philippines. Shows regional cultural borrowing as well as the likely role of Manila in the introduction of Colombian exchange goods into Southeast Asia markets, shaping how modern Asian cuisine today.
Keep it up, watching my videos. To stay updated with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking the button. Thank you.